Hi everyone. I welcome you all to this webinar on how to ace your interview. We are delighted to have Priya Nair as a speaker for this webinar. Priya Nair leads the talent acquisition team at Foundit. She has over 15 years of experience in recruitment prior to her current role at Foundit. She has led a team of recruiters at InfoEdge, where they manage the hiring process for the key accounts of the company. Throughout her career, she has successfully overseen recruitment efforts for a diverse range of clients across IT and non-IT sectors, spanning various geographical regions and organizational levels.
Thank you so much, Ayan. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm very thankful for the opportunity, and I hope that I'm able to add value to the students who have joined here, and I'm able to give some tips on the topic concerned. So, can we move on to the presentation, Ayan? So for the audience here, see, particularly this topic I have chosen, when I was asked as to what is it that I would want to discuss, is, there's a reason behind, because I recently concluded, last 2 weeks, went in doing some campus interviews. So I recently concluded campus interviews with some really renowned management institutes as well as engineering institutes. And basis my experience, I felt that, it is important that we talk to the students about the various factors which are looked into by the interviewers when we are taking an interview from a campus, when we are looking at freshers. So while some of these points would look like you already know, you are told about these things, but I noticed that students were not giving enough importance to these aspects when they were attending the interview. So it is important that you understand from the interviewer's point of view also as to why these things have to be given the kind of importance, during the interview process, along with how you should prepare, to be able to crack an interview well. The interviewer is looking at somebody who has an edge over the other set of, maybe 10 students that you are looking at in a group discussion round, or out of the 50 students that we have interviewed for a particular position. So to be able to have that edge, it's very important that some of these things are very carefully, looked into, and you are actually working, you're preparing yourself for these, things like being the look of it, maybe preparing the resume, researching the company and whatnot. So we'll go into each of these aspects one by one. Let's move to the first. So here we are talking about the appearance. So when we are saying, so when I start an interview process, that's the first, even before you started speaking, that's the first impression, right, that you have, in front of the panel or in front of the interviewer. So it is very important that you are professionally dressed, you are formally dressed, because that also gives you confidence, and that also shows it to the interviewer that actually you are, paying attention to the details, you are respecting the time of the interviewer, and you are respecting the organization which has come to take your interview. It adds obviously the confidence, right? If you are dressed well, you're looking good, you're clean, presentation, everything is good, then it gives you that extra edge. And if you are not comfortable in what you're wearing, then it obviously, your attention would be more towards the getting the maybe dress appropriately settled, rather than actually focusing on the questions that are getting posed to you. So it is very important. So small little things, like mostly I've seen that when I'm taking a group discussion, or when we are having one-on-one interviews with the students, most of them wear suits and white shirt and trousers. So but I've also noticed that sometimes the shirt that they're wearing is not ironed enough. Sometimes the way they do their hair is not neatly combed, so to say. They look, I mean, they appear shabby. So we feel that are these students giving enough importance that is required for this particular session, or have they just come here for the sake of it? So that is what goes on in the interviewer's mind. Okay, now this is another aspect, and specifically, staying attentive is more important when, there is a group discussion happening, right? So in one-on-one discussion, I would assume that most of the students would have an eye contact with the interviewer. But when it comes to, a group discussion round, and if a question is posed to the, set of students who are sitting there, and one person is answering, the other students may or may not give the kind of attention that is required to what the person is speaking. So when you are overall speaking, and there's somebody speaking and you are in a group, it is important that you are actively listening, because you would have some points coming from what the other person is speaking. It is also a mark of respect for the other person speaking. And please understand that all these things are noted by the interviewer. So interviewer is not just looking at the right or wrong answer. The person is also looking at your attitude when such interviews are being conducted. So they are looking at how you are not intruding in when somebody else is speaking. You are taking notes, you are nodding, you are raising one point after the other if it is making sense in the series of discussion that is happening. So all these things are very important, and it is also very important that you are patiently listening, at the same time speaking when there is a right opportunity given, not intruding anybody else's space. And when also you are speaking, take a moment to think. For example, if directly a question is posed at you, it is not necessary that you may have immediately a lot of points coming at you. So what you can do, you can ask the interviewer, give me a second, let me just quickly grab my thoughts around what you have asked, and then come back. So you can take a split second to think and then structure your thoughts. So it becomes very it looks very, because it's obviously you can't prepare yourself for every possible question that comes your way. So it is important that you are actually structuring your thoughts around that question and then answering. So don't just start talking for the sake of it. So talk and make sense of what is being so that is very important. Stay present, stay very alert to what is being discussed around it, the topic that is being discussed, and speak when the right opportunity comes, and stay attentive to what the others are also speaking, when especially you are in a group discussion round. And one to one, when you are speaking, it is very important that all the distractions, possible distractions that are likely to come, like having your phone around, or letting others know if you are with your family, to know that you should not be disturbed when you are taking an interview. All those things are important, so that it shows that you are purely spending your time giving attention to what the activity is, what the interview is getting set there. So it is very important that you are demonstrating your respect for the process, and you are also at the same time showing that you're interested in participating for the opportunity. So it is important that if you are interested in learning about anything, you go ahead and do a little bit of research about the person who's going to talk about it. So if you are giving an interview for Founded, for example, it is in your interest to make sure that you understand what Founded is all about, understand the mission statement of the company, understand what are our products, what we do, what are the competitors, are there any recent updates about us in the market, are there any new customer base that has come up, about which you can talk during the interview, what are the cultural aspects that are in the social media around the company. So all these things will give you a edge in terms of being able to talk about the company, talk more to the interviewer during the process. So it will help you in the first place gain knowledge about the company where you are getting interviewed, but at the same time, over the process of the interview, it will also give you enough material to talk about. So understanding the company is very, very important whenever you are going for an interview for any company, however small or big it is. It is always good to go through the company side, at the same time the news around it, the leaders who are of the company. It is always important that you have you spend good time around the details of the company before you appear for the interview. So tailoring to the job means that you are actually aligning the work that you have done according to the job description given by the company. Then if you have any, like a lot of the candidates we approached for our campus had done internship for 3 months, 6 months during their studies. So they so if they are during the 3 months of period, if they had achieved a certain target, or if they had participated in a particular campaign, in a marketing campaign, if they are able to highlight that in the resume, that also gives them an edge when we are shortlisting resumes as recruiters, as hiring managers, we tend to give weightage to those resumes. Information that can be prioritized. Now we all know that we are so looking forward to academics of the students. So definitely, if you have some accomplishments with respect to the any awards that you have won in your campus, those things can be highlighted. If you have other than that, extracurricular activities, they're like the people who are placement coordinators in their campuses, highlight that. If they have participated in sports and won awards there, that gets highlighted. So this gives us an overview of the personality of the candidate and of the student. So we know that not just academically, the student is an all-rounder. The person would participate and take initiative. So that is what we read from these information aspects that are there in the resume. So it becomes very it gives a holistic view of the personality of the student, because we know as freshers, as people with maybe few internships only, you may not have very detailed huge resume to talk about various accomplishments, but these factors like small achievements that you've had in your academics or extracurricular, whatever achievements, accomplishments you've had, which are worthy of being presented, can always be presented and highlighted in your resume. That has an edge. That definitely has an edge. Okay, so we also know that there are some very common questions, right, which are posed by the interviewer. So obviously, if I'm meeting you for the first time, I would want to introduce myself, and I would also want you to introduce yourself. So it is good. It is a good practice that you are practicing a bit about what you want to speak. If I ask, please introduce yourself, then what is it that you want to talk about, and in what order? So it's not that you have to really, like, talk in a particular fashion only, but yes, it is always important to know that what is it that you're going to talk about. So because some of the questions are going to be asked in every interview that you go for, so it is important that you spend some time and think, structure your thoughts around what exactly you want to talk about. Okay, so enthusiasm is another aspect that, as I spoke initially, that your body language has to be very active. You have to speak with energy. So we've had cases when 5-6 students are there and we are doing a group discussion. Some of them are looking only on the towards the floor. Or they're looking completely disinterested. So your body language has to be very happy. You have to constantly nod. You have to, use your hands if you want, and you have to be expressive basically, right, and smile. You have to have eye contact if you are talking to the panel. If you are talking to one person, or if you are sitting and in an interview where there are 3 to 4 panelists sitting and taking an interview, so at that time you have to look at each of the panelists every as next minute, so that you are getting their interest also in your candidature. Speak with energy. Low volume or low tone does not work. So you have to speak enthusiastically about what your accomplishments have been, during your period of education there. Share what is very relevant. Share something that you feel that might be of interest to the interviewer because of the kind of company it is. Now, this is another very important, aspect, students, that I would want everybody to stay focused on. So when I initially spoke about researching the company, this is the time when you can actually ask questions around what you have learned about the company. So it could be company specific questions about the leaders, about any future goals, about any news that has come about the company in the social media. So you can talk about that. You can ask about that. So that also, gives an impression to the interviewer that, okay, this person has come prepared for the interview and has not just, come for the sake of it. You can ask about the roles and responsibilities. You are getting hired for the marketing team. You can understand how big the marketing team is, how is the hierarchy, how many team members are there in the particular team that you are going to join, what is the scope of development generally in the organization or for this particular role in as such. So always have some questions ready at the back of your mind after the interview, for the interviewer, so that again the conversation becomes more engaging and you get more information about the company, and it will eventually help you also to decide, right? So once the interviewer is deciding on your candidature, you are also deciding about the company, whether you should join the company or not. So by means of these discussion points, by means of these details that you are getting from the interviewer, it is important that you are also forming an opinion whether it is this a company right for me. Does it fit in the scheme of things that I would want? Does it align with my future plans? So should I actually invest my time, more time in this company or not? So it will also help you decide a lot of things if you are asking very relevant questions. And in general, it is information, right? You are going to start your professional journey. So it is always good to take as much information as possible from these interviewers who are senior, who have had market knowledge of so many and they're in terms of whether it is a HR function or marketing function or sales. So it is always good to gather a lot of information that is possible from these interviewers. So always ask questions that are very relevant. Follow up is, I would say, it is quite important. Reason being, see, during the process of whether you are learning about the company, asking the relevant questions, whether you're very well prepared to attend the interview, all these things you are doing. This is an one notch above, where after having done the interview, every process is done, you are actually following up, showing the interviewer and the company that you are genuinely interested in the company and are eager to know the result. So you can wait for maybe 24 hours a day or two to get and to show your gratitude. See, simple thing is that you appreciate having given an opportunity to attend the interview and how the process was. You can always talk about that, and like a thank you note you can always send. Follow it up with your interest in terms of why you are still keen for the position and the company, the role, responsibilities, with your enthusiasm. So all these things are very important if you do that towards the end of the interview. And as I said, why I wanted to talk about this topic is there were several incidents when in the course of my campus interview, I noticed that students were not prepared. They were not prepared to answer as to why they are appearing for this particular position. They were not sure whether they would fit better for a marketing role or for a sales role. So it showed that they were just not, they did not get the context of the interview. They did not get the they themselves were not clear as to what they wanted for the future. So in terms of that, it was very disheartening to see students do that. B.Tech mechanical engineering student, but don't have jobs. So in the first place, from wherever you have done your engineering, you should check with the campus if they are inviting companies to take interviews, because that's the approach that we are following. We are going to the campus, we are shortlisting profiles from there. We are having 2 to 3 rounds of interviews for those students. So generally, campus provides all the support required. And then you can look at internships also, that helps most of these students get some experience. That also has an edge. So students who have done some internship during their period of, be it engineering or masters, that those students definitely have an edge. In terms of the interviewers picking their resumes and things like that. So it's always important that you do some internship. That always helps. How to reduce hesitation and fear when we sit in an interview. I panic at that time. It is very normal. It is very, very normal. So when I had started this webinar, I was also panicking because I have not, had so much of experience talking to such a large audience. I also have limited experience. It is all right. Now, the things that I spoke about, that when you are going for an interview prepared, when you are going for an interview knowing that you are dressed well, you are looking good, when you know that I know about the company, you will half the tension, stress would go away. So go prepared for an interview, study about the company, and see, worst that can happen in an interview is that you will not get the job. But take it as a learning opportunity. Every interview that you attend to is actually an opportunity for you to do better the next time, right? This is not the last time you're going to attend an interview. Every time you're going to come up with a new interview, and every time it's an opportunity for you to improve over the last interview that you had.
Priya, we greatly appreciate your enlightening webinar on how to ace your interview. Your expertise and practical advice have proven to be invaluable for the students, instilling them with newfound confidence and preparation for the future interviews. We sincerely thank you for this opportunity to learn from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy that I was able to participate and add value here. Thank you, Ayan. Thank you so much for your time.